Van, you want to?
I got you. You gotta like
those things.
You want me to just introduce you as executive cultivation?
Oh, Big Smoke.
Big Smoke. Big
Oh,
Smoke.
yeah,
Yeah,
please.
executive
Yes,
cultivation.
Go on,
Okay, I just want to
Kermit.
make sure. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Try to push.
Yeah, I'm gonna put something else over here.
You know, we try to push it.
Yeah.
No one can see you,
I wanna
man.
Make sure. Yeah.
You're not. I took you out all the
Right from
cameras.
Strip club, man.
I took
You
you out.
put one around here. There's only two.
No, all in Maine.
Okay.
Maine got Strip club? Out in Portland. Yeah.
Man, wow. You said they nice too, T.
It's all right.
Oh yeah. You went there that. People in there.
Last night?
How many chicks they had? How many chicks?
I think that's heavy.
15, 16.
Yeah.
The hotel I'm at is right across the street.
Yeah, Chris.
I stayed there.
You can't see his face.
Oh,
I know what I'm doing,
Take him
homie.
last night.
That's
I
better right there.
couldn't do it, T. I
That's it.
couldn't do it. I would have been able to come get you. No way. He wasn't driving. So, you know what I'm saying?
I didn't want to come to get you. I'm like, shit, man. I can't leave my
You tag
nigga
him
like
on
that, man.
What's that?
Tag him on the line.
It is live. Yeah. It's on.
Okay. All right. Hush, you ready?
Really?
Behind here.
Mm-mm-mm.
Okay.
Yo.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Goddamn, stop screwing me down.
Okay.
He
Mic
gets
check 1.
excited, man.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2
Check,
3.
check.
All right, we all good.
It's hip hop.
And we're good. All right,
We're good.
3, 2, 1.
BIg Dookie Chain. What's going on? It's Van Styles. To my left is Tash. Hush behind the cameras. And today we have, man, Boston's finest.
Man.
I mean, you hold all the answers, all the keys to this city
Man,
and Massachusetts.
I'm finally on the BIg Dookie Chain podcast, bro.
And we appreciate you being here. It's Benzino,
I
y'all.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
For real, man.
Benzino.
And y'all spot is dope as fuck. The hospitality is dope already. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I
Appreciate you.
it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Well,
you.
man,
You're making us feel at home.
Well, that's the truth, but that's what it's all about, actually, building relationships. And like, we really appreciate you taking the time to come over to Weymouth. We're in Weymouth right now in the
I had an
studio.
apartment there.
In this building.
Not this building, but it wasn't too far from here. Me and Coy's mom, when we had first got together, we had got an apartment, and it was in Weymouth. We was in Stoughton first, or Randolph, and then we moved to Weymouth.
What
You didn't
apartment?
know he was your neighbor.
I don't remember. I just remember we was there for like maybe 8 months. You know what I'm saying? In an apartment building, and I was in Weymouth. Then from there went to Easton. From there Hanover. Like we kept.
Oh, so you've been all out here.
Yeah.
You're familiar with the whole.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I was thinking about that when you're talking about, we were on the phone earlier, talking, oh, Weymouth ain't that bad. I was thinking that, like, watching your old stuff, there's probably a time in your life, like, where Weymouth would have been, might as well have been fucking Europe.
Well, I mean, you know, I caught a case in Quincy, so you know what I'm saying. I was coming back and forth to court and shit. So, and then I used to always be messing around at the President's Inn. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right, yeah.
The Adams Inn, and you know,
Adams Inn,
I used to
okay.
have my little fun. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Hush is from Quincy, and he's laughing over here now because the Adams.
You know about it.
Yeah,
right?
everyone knows about the Adams thing.
President's Inn. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
If you're over there, you're doing some shit.
Cathay Pacific was like a
Up and downs.
Man, man, yeah.
Up and down,
yeah,
upstairs,
of course,
downstairs.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Pony room.
That was our spot, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't necessarily so far out, you know what I mean? But it stopped at Quincy, but it's just that Weymouth is so close to Quincy, you kind of put it both in. You know, Braintree, we'd always go to Braintree for the mall, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, I was familiar with this area.
So Van's not from the Boston area, he's from Detroit, but he came to Boston
Okay.
with Emerson.
You were just there.
WERS is when he came, is what he
We had a
did.
story.
Yeah.
So
I've been here since 2001.
he doesn't know what you're talking about, though. He's talking about up and downs, and where you're at is the Rotary, where the fuck is that Rotary? The Ponce Rotary. So up and downs is a place that it was a dive bar, right? But it was open an hour later than everywhere else.
Okay.
And if you knew them, they closed the door, and it just went on all fucking night.
Oh, not yet.
So like, yeah, it was like, and it was kind of the spot for that. Like
Like after hour.
everybody kind of conjugated there that was all doing nefarious shit.
So in your drinking days, you would say
Yeah,
you frequented. You probably, yeah, you could have run into Benzino.
Yeah,
I've been there a few times, and you know, I mean, like I said, Boston's not that big, man. Like, come on, like the big really ain't
Peggy
that
O's
big.
and shit,
It's not, you know, really, you know what I'm saying? Quincy is funny because a lot of people now are moved out here. Quincy and Weymouth.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because it's so
a
expensive.
lot of people
Yeah.
have moved out here now. I was telling Tiger, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, shout out to my man Tiger in the building. You know what I'm saying? My man Big Smoke.
Right.
From
Yeah, I'm
Executive
sorry, we didn't
Cultivation.
finish the.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I just want to shout out. I want to also shout out to Albie for making this possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Shout out to
How do you know Albie?
I've known Albie since Albie was like a kid.
You got
bro.
the cheddar DVD right there.
Yeah, that's like since Albie, since he was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like my father knows Albie's father, but even my father's a little older than Albie's father. I'm older than Albie, so I've known Albie when he first was coming up to Malcolm X, and Albie started out selling. Like I'm so proud of Albie. Like Albie kind of like Albie makes you have hope for Boston because I've seen how he hustled and came up, and Boston's not an easy place to do that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, he started out flipping burgers, selling blunts at Malcolm X Park. Back then it was called Washington Park. And then he was selling food. And then he had the treats that he was, you know, so you could come over and get a cheeseburger and get a dime sack. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, but just always a great dude. And he always knew, like, never caught up in anything. He always knew the importance of, listen, I want to hustle and get money, so I want to get along with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And Boston is just so, you know, separated with everybody. You know, it's hard growing up in Boston and trying to, you know, to have that like attitude where you want to be cool with everybody because it just doesn't happen.
Well, and this is to our conversation from earlier. Cheddar DVD, another, you know, media outlet that started in Massachusetts by Albie.
I used to fly Albie to Source Magazine, man, and put him up in hotels and come on, man, go ahead and you give him carte blanche. You film whatever you want to film. Go ahead. You know, because that's when he transitioned into his Cheddar DVD.
Mm-hmm.
And he got his camera, and I used to fly him to the awards and give him backstage passes and let him be press. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm proud of Albie.
That's exactly what he said when we had him in on that episode.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah, almost word for word. That you were the guy that started it because you gave him the first bit of access to stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. He spoke very highly of you. Something that, like, I want to get into a bunch of stuff, but something that I've noticed doing my digging and diligence around the city is you definitely have a reputation for a whole bunch of shit. Let's just call that what it is.
Right.
But what behind that, what I've seen is a lot of people that know you say you're one of the most like giving people. Like a lot of it's come up a lot. Like the kind side of Benzino has come up a lot because you don't see that a lot. Like, but when I'm asking people that actually know you,
no, man,
that's what they kind of say.
I was, you know, it just was in me, and I, you know, from a little kid walking in, and I got a couple of friends of mine. I always say my mother, God rest her, you know, gave me my conscience. So I had a big conscience, and I just couldn't like walk in a store or be somewhere, and if I had something and they couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have to make sure that they'd have something. And I was a young, you know what I'm saying? I remember doing that young. And as I grew up, whoever was around me, whatever I had, they had. I always figured, like, you can't, like, first of all, whatever you have, if you're feeling good for having it, if it's enough to share it, it's better that both of y'all have it. It looks better. Mm-hmm. I'm always like a group guy. You know what I'm saying? If the whole group's shining, then, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but I also get the feeling from your interviews that you feel more than maybe the average person. Like, you're more empathetic than some.
I don't know, man. I think we all have it in us. You know what I'm saying? I think based on how you was brought up, I think stuff like that has to come from your parents or somebody, grandmother, or it has to come from a figure like that. Has to be kind of instilled in you at a young age. Like, and that's why it's so important when you have children, these people who have kids, to really put the time in certain ways you raise them and give them certain type of morals and values, because those are the things the little things stick with them later. And I just think that with my mother, like, my father was a street guy, street guy. My mother was the one, hard worker. She worked at the Prudential for like 30 years. And she was at the Skywalk. Like, she was pregnant with me working at the Skywalk, like the very top of Prudential. Like, I was looking over Boston, even in their stomach and shit. Like, imagine that. So, you know, if she was just a Cape Verdean woman, wasn't into the streets, I always kind of wondered, how did my father and her get together? Because he was so street and she was so not into that old school Cape Verdean woman. And man, it was just, you know, I'm pretty sure now looking at it, and I'm mature enough to understand it, like, all that was instilled, you know, a lot of it, watching my father look out for people. It was my parents that gave me that, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't value my. I was a hustling motherfucker. I was. Can I curse?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was a hustling motherfucker, so I was getting money, and it's like if you didn't have it, I want you to hang out with me. So when you're hanging out with me, I want you to feel good too. So whatever you want. If I'm going clothing shopping, I'm gonna get it for you. If I'm going somewhere, I used to always ask my mother, like, "Mom, can they come? Dad, can they come? Can he spend the night? Dad, can he get?"
Yeah.
I used to be bringing in people like right off the streets and just stay. I had so many people living with me at one point, man. My mother, God rest her, man. She'd be like, Raymond. But it was true.
Wait, how many people did you have living with you
Well, not at one time, but separately, at least 11 different people. I counted them. You know what I'm saying? 11 different guys from the streets that needed somewhere to stay, and others just, street guys that was my guys, and we was hustling, selling drugs, and they would just come over, and my mother would just, she didn't necessarily like it, but I was her only son, and it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she just was this beautiful, she had a beautiful spirit towards me her whole life, and, I miss my mom.
Was she strict or no?
Very well, she was strict, but after my father's not around, there's only so much you could do. She's gone to work.
So when did your father step out of the picture?
So my father was like in and out. I just remember because I grew up in Jamaica Plain. I was born on Mission Hill, grew up in Jamaica Plain around the Mission Hill area.
I've lived on Hillside.
Yeah, that's I was born like right. That was my first, you know what I'm saying? City Hospital at the time, it was a 65, was being demolished, like being done over. It was construction. So I just remembered that from there we moved to Academy Homes. And we lived in Academy Homes. And then from the Academy Homes, we moved to Four Corners down Dorchester. So, but we moved to Four Corners early in life, you know what I'm saying? But, Boston, I mean, like my father, I just remember him in and out. They didn't get married. I just remember him in and out. He'd be there sometimes for a long period of time, and then he'd be gone. When he was locked up, he did a couple of bids, long ones, you know what I'm saying? Long bids. So, but I would still go see him. My mother would take me to see him. Like my dad was like highly involved with, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the guys in the North End, you know what I'm saying? And
mafia stuff? Oh, wow.
Yeah, heavily with those guys. And, he used to do his thing in Boston.
Wait, he's not part Italian, right?
Well, no, he's not a part Italian. And, of course, he couldn't be made because of that. But they loved my dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? The guys that he, like, I'm going to say that, the Angelos, the Patriarchas, these guys loved my father. The Patriarchas was in Rhode Island. Okay. All right. Raymond, his father was the mob boss, and then died, and Raymond Jr. took it. The Angelos, was the ones that, so Whitey had the information on. That whole movie was about him basically telling on those guys. So, like my dad is just an amazing man, and they loved him. I got to meet these guys, you know what I'm saying? I'm young as hell, you know what I'm saying? I'm riding. My father is in town. He'll come get me, spoil me, give me money, you know what I'm saying? But then, he's a street guy, then he's gone, you know what I'm saying? So,
but you actually, from an early age, you were raised around these mob figures.
Yeah, like I remember it literally going, I had to be about maybe 11, 12, and taking notes from my father in Danbury, before it was a woman's fed joint, taking notes, folding them up, sticking them in my ass, and then bringing them to Raymond in another fed joint. Going to see him, pull my man, give him the note would be this big, like doing stuff like that. He would give me jobs from jail. He would introduce me to people. You know what I'm saying? And for a long time, I was doing things under him. My mother wouldn't know.
Oh, she didn't know. Okay.
No, I mean, it would. He made sure and told me, don't let your mother. You know what I'm saying? So, but I did a good job. She didn't want it though.
Right.
She's not stupid, but she's just not with none of that street stuff. But I was careful from bringing that stuff around it. But after a while, it's like
you can't not know. Right,
it gets too kind of crazy.
So how did he get indoctrinated into? Well, he said he's no Italian in his blood.
No Italian, but somehow someone got in with those. And I'm talking like all the John Materano. I mean, all these guys, and even he had a situation with him and Whitey one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, him and Whitey. His friend Jimmy was a bank robber. Him and Jimmy went up. There was a bar in Southie, and him and Jimmy went up there. This is a story he told me. He said him and Jimmy went in there. I guess Jimmy and Whitey was fucking the same girl, right?
Okay.
So Jimmy's Irish, but he's a bank robber from Charlestown. So
this is so Boston. Right now.
Yeah. So he had a broken arm. They went in there, and then something happened where they locked the door behind them. So my father was like, shit, they didn't have no gun or whatever. He said Jimmy immediately bluffed. And he went over to Whitey and said, listen, I'll put one right in his head if you tell him to open that goddamn door, whatever. So they opened the door, they left, and they ran and shit, and they boom, 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 boom. You know, my father had a Buick Riviera, shot up the back of the Buick or whatever. But that was his one story with Whitey Bulger.
Wow, that's quite a story, though.
I've met a couple of guys. I've met a couple of guys. I don't want to mention their names, but these are big Irish guys that was with like the IRA. I used to do dealings with them, and these was major guys. Now these guys was, again, they 50s, 60s, they did Fed time, whatever. These are major guys in Southie, right? But they're not only are they doing, you know, their thing in Boston with drugs or whatever, but they're also the IRA, like running the guns for their So
what is it? It's Irish
Republican
Army. Yeah.
Okay.
And these guys, man, like I'm telling you, like one of their brothers died. I had to go sign the wake for my father in jail, and I went to the wake, Irish wake, bagpipes everywhere. And I'm sitting there by myself. I couldn't go with nobody else. And I probably was maybe about 15, 16. So they knew me. His brother knew me, you know what I'm saying? Michael, you know what I'm saying? The guy had been killed by his wife, you know what I'm saying? Big Irish guy, you know what I'm saying? But I went, seen his brother, I signed my father's name, said there, you know what I'm saying? Gave my, you know, my condolences, you know, but it was the first time I got to see an Irish, you know, it was big, you know what I'm saying? You know, as far as the funeral. But I grew up around that shit my entire life. And it wasn't, back then, it wasn't nothing for me to be like, oh, I'm special. It just was what it was. Whatever he want. I looked up to my father so much because when we come around, he's the flyest dude. He got the flyest cars. All the chicks love him. Like, I mean, my father, he's giving money to everybody.
And did all your friends or
my friends would pull up, he'd give money to them. This lasted all the way until now, where Raekwon, Ghostface, I'm talking just whoever knows me, we they all know Schnapps. They all know we call them Schnapps.
Okay.
They don't want to be called Pops. So we took like the peach schnapps.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, is that it?
Okay. So he's Schnapps. Even on Facebook, on Instagram, it says Schnapps. So I put Schnapps in all kind of videos. He's chilled with Little Kim and Missy at Club Z. I mean,
I've seen him in some of your
I brought him on tour with me. We fought police together with me, him, and my younger brother, Free Porky. All got locked up one time in North Carolina. Like crazy. Like my father,
just like my child.
It's such, but it's just such a. He's such a major influence on me. And
is he still?
He's still alive.
Okay.
My mom passed, but he's still alive. He stays out in Taunton. You know, my father got a lot of kids. You know, a lot of baby mothers, a lot of kids. So I got a lot of stepbrothers and sisters whom I love. But he taught me a lot. He taught streetwise, you know. I'd have to sometimes, I remember he was on the run with the marshals, and I'd have to go pick him up in a hoopty. And then I'm young, I'm 14, 15, barely could drive. So I'm picking him up, and he jump in the back seat, and in my Toyota Corolla, nasty one, jump in the back seat and just lay down the whole time. And I'm bringing him all through the hood, and he's running in and out doing his thing. Like, my dad is something else.
That reminds me very much of what Prodigy said in an interview I did with him, where he was like, his dad.
They met him.
Okay.
They met Schnapps. Schnapps is in the Wars On video with us and Mobb Deep. So if you ever watch the Wars On,
I know.
All right. There's a part with me. My father in the jail. Exactly. There it goes. That's it. Yep.
So speaking of, right? So obviously, street. It's almost like Bronxdale. Is like the kind of shit you're talking about. Like it's almost like that kind of shit. Indoctrinated from the beginning. But hip hop, like, so what's the transition? So when you start hip hop isn't even like a big thing yet.
Well, I owe that to my father. My father's from Brooklyn.
Okay.
My grandfather's from the Bronx.
So what gets Benzino into
I used to get shit from Boston every summer to either in Coney Island projects to stay with my grandmother. Now she's Puerto Rican, can't speak no English.
Okay.
Or I'll go stay with my grandfather in the Bronx. So I get shit back and forth. But the time I was with my grandfather, he had a basement, and he had a son that was only a few years older than me. And his son in the basement had 2 turntables. Now this was like 77, maybe 77 around that time. And the song To Be Real.
Okay.
He would have Bruce Lee posters all over. Now, you know, the basements, and I had to tell Tiger, I said, basements ain't like the ones in Atlanta. These basements are like, the walls are like mountains. You know what I'm saying? It's rocks. It's rocks. You know what I'm saying? This isn't finished basement shit. So he had a small house up there. he used to convert the diamonds into needles for record players. So he had all the equipment in like a small garage.
That's dope.
This is super hip hop.
He had this German Shepherd named King. You know what I'm saying? So my grandfather, again, this is my father's father.
Yeah.
Hard-working man. Now, he wasn't street, just hard-working man. You know what I'm saying? And I miss my grandfather. And so Eddie taught me how to scratch. And it blew my fucking mind. He had two Gemini turntables with a Gemini mixer, crossfader, and he had three songs. It was To Be Real, I think Cheryl Lynn. Then he had the original Apache, the original by the Amazing Bongo Band.
Yeah,
the original one. And then there was another song on that album called Sex. So he was teaching me how to cut and mix on that. And then it just blew me away. I went back to Boston and I got my own set. As time went on, the SP1200s came out. So there was no longer belt driven. They made them turntables for DJs because
you were there for the transition.
Yeah, because look, I'm 59. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm trying to get at.
In the 70s, people don't understand. Like, if they say hip hop is 50 years old, 1973, hip hop was disco. It was transitioning from disco. It really wasn't. Niggas wasn't rapping in 70.
Right.
It was really about the DJ spinning the breaks and also the Jamaicans that was coming out the same time as disco. They're coming out to the parks with big dresser drawers with 18 subwoofers doing things with turntables and the mic and that nobody's done before. See, all that was happening at the same time. You got DJs with disco, up-tempo music, dance music. Now the DJs are scratching it. At the same time, the Jamaicans are over there using effects on their voice and bringing their shit out to the park. When it transitioned with Kool Herc, Jamaican, transitioned it, that was when hip-hop, then maybe a year later, people started rapping. Prior to that, it was just MCing. Yes, y'all. Okay, y'all, I see you over there. You know what I'm saying? Big Dookie Chain in the house. That's really all it was.
Yeah.
Rap came maybe 74, 75. You know what I'm saying? Because King Tim III, there's a song called King Tim III by the Fat Bat Band, who arguably could be the first rap that I've ever heard. That was like in 70. If you pull it up, he rapped before any rapper, before anybody. So and they was an R&B band.
Okay.
They're the band that made Looking for That Good Stuff. I want you to tighten up on that backstroke. They had a song called King Tim III that was on the B side, and there was a rap on it. And that was before everybody. So
it's almost like a Cardi B song.
It's
back then. Like,
right. Like nobody, nobody paid attention that it was rap.
Yeah.
Tighten up on that backside. Yeah. So he's talking about fucking.
Nobody, exactly. Nobody paid attention. So hip hop bloomed. I loved it. I seen the movie Wild Style a few years later. I fell in love with it, and then by then I'm Rock Shock and Ray Dog. I wasn't Benzino. I was Ray Dog.
I recall. Well, with the this makes me think of what Lord Jamar, the arguments recently about the place that Puerto Ricans had in this culture at the beginning. I think that's from your take.
I'm saying because I'm part Puerto Rican, it's crazy to me that somebody could you can't discredit Puerto Ricans because, first of all, let's understand that hip hop came from it. If anybody's seen what the South Bronx looked like in the 70s, in the early 70s, that's some of the most you couldn't even believe that was America almost.
Yeah, that was like an 80 blocks from Tiffany's documentary?
I'm talking burnt out buildings and fucked up. People were living in these places. What happened was the Jewish people that owned those buildings ended up moving out, and then the property value dropped and everything. This is how the blacks and a lot of Caribbeans came when they first started coming to New York from the Caribbean. That was there for them. So that's what hip hop was born out of. We gotta think about that. That was the most poorest conditions anybody could ever imagine.
Right.
So, Puerto Ricans was right there with black people. They were right there. The breakdancing, definitely the graffiti. Yeah. All right. The DJing especially. And then even the rapping. All the big crews. The Funky Floor Plus One, the Fearless Four. They had two Puerto Rican guys in it. All the Crash crew had a Puerto Rican guy. All the early crews had a Puerto Rican. Because the Puerto Ricans, they were in the slums with the black people, and that's how it happened. It wasn't the majority could have been black, but the Puerto Ricans was there. And then what disappoints me is that They don't need that back then. Nobody even looked at anybody as you're Puerto Rican and I'm black. We just looked at motherfuckers like you're in the hood, I'm in the hood, and we out here together.
Yeah.
Nobody was worried about that color shit and race shit back then. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to put things on it because everybody wants to claim things, but 100% Puerto Ricans had something to do with the beginnings of hip hop. I don't see how anybody could, even try to discredit that.
The beginning of RSO. So eventually, hip hop starting, you're scratching and shit, and then at some point in time, everyone's hearing hip hop, but then you're like, I can do that part of it too, which makes it different than everybody else hearing it, right? So what made you decide to do that, and who was the original members of RSO, and how did that get started?
Great question. So the RSO was in Four Corners. I moved from Academy to Four Corners. We got in our first house. It was 2-family, and shout out to the Ronnie Robinsons and Mike and Trav on the first floor. We on the second floor. We got a house. We got a washer and dryer and shit. Like, moving on. We all right. You know what I'm saying? So at that time, Dorchester, was predominantly, a lot was white and Jewish, but they started kind of moving out. So black people started moving into Dorchester.
What year are we at?
This,
Or
let me think. Let me see. 79.
Okay.
Around 79, maybe
Okay.
79,
Yeah.
80. And you see, Mark and what stayed Irish was the part where Dorchester Ave. So that stayed that. That's where Marky, Donnie, you know what I'm saying? So that stayed like that. It's not like all the white people moved out because that stayed. So that was the connection of black and white people together in that part of Dorchester. And I lived on Tonawanda, which is not even a mile away from Dorchester Ave. So moved out there. By this time, I got a little name for. I joined a couple of record pools. You know what I'm saying? Now the whole time, again, I'm still selling drugs. I hooked up with the Shower Posse that came in Four Corners and set up shop. I fucked with them for a long period of time. My father got locked up, so no matter what, he started me. But once I got started, if he was gone, I had to go find my own way.
Wait, so your dad started you in the drug game?
Yeah, 100%.
So he wanted you.
Family business, man.
Yeah, I like that.
It's hard for him to understand that 'cause he's from a different place. But
Right.
yeah,
That's
like,
the way to say it.
yeah, it's family business.
And I'm saying, I'm sure that's how he was thinking.
Well, not even
Like,
that.
I could trust my son. You see, if I can't trust, because the drug game is about trust,
Right?
Because that will get you killed. And of course, you're going to trust what's closest to you, and that's how no father wants to put their son in danger.
If your whole family's roofers, chances are you're going to be a fucking roofer. If your whole family's in fucking the service industry, chances are you're going to be in the service industry. It's just the way kind of.
But there's so many times we hear that. I didn't want my son to go down the route that I took.
Nah, he knew. My father knew.
Yeah, you know what it is. You know what
I was going to be involved with it anyway. So he's like, you might as well be involved with it.
me.
Right. Let me put you on game.
Yeah, because he'll be able to protect me. He'll be able to put me in the right way. He'll be able to, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not going to, listen, at a young age, my dad had me doing some shit. And I was scared of him, number one. But I respected and loved him and admired him so much that whatever he wanted me to do, I would do it. And not even think that it was dangerous. Not even think it was bad. Didn't think that I was tough doing it.
You're also a
I
child.
just did. I'm a kid.
Yeah.
But you're also the only son, right? You have two sisters.
No. He got there's remember I got.
That's right. You have the whole extended family.
So there's my steps are out in Taunton. Eddie, Mikey, Ricky, Donna, Denise. They're out in Taunton.
Okay, that's one.
So yeah. So my dad was a menace. You know what I'm saying? Like I got steps all over the place. So but I was really the one. I noticed that I was the one that he really wanted. And I was the one like in the streets. And Taunton was different. See, Taunton, Massachusetts wasn't Boston, Roxbury back then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So since I already grew up around it, it was like, look, it almost like in his mind, listen, because he could have took Eddie, Mikey, and Ricky and did the same thing with them, and they would have gladly did it. But they didn't grow up in the same environment as I did. So I was the one. I loves him to death. Like she always talks about him. And yeah, it's crazy how things.
It is wild.
Founding members of RSO though. Let's get
myself, Four Corners, Ben's Lounge, DJing. I want to get a group together.
Okay.
And around this time, Super Rhymes is out. Super Rhymes. So whenever that came out, this is the timeline. And I remember meeting the Master Kev. That was he was a basketball player. He was tall as hell. Rest in peace to Kev. And MC Knox. And I had this saying, rock shit on. The almighty rock shit on crew. because I come from that era of the Crash Crew and all those New York groups. I wanted, okay, we need to get a group.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Eddie had a group. They was called Three the Hard Way. You know what I'm saying? My uncle. So, you know, I wanted a group, and I was going to be the DJ. And I started, I wrote a rhyme. My first rhyme was like this long rhyme about an alien coming down, but I was mimicking the super rhymes. If you listen to
do you remember any of that rhyme?
I don't remember it, but I just remember I mimicked. I remember rhymes doing. That's what motivated me to do it. But that was my one go-to
Hip
rhyme.
hop was like storytelling and shit back then.
My
Anyway,
story.
yeah,
I was talking about a fucking alien that came down.
Yeah, I know
got
the
with some
sound.
bitches, and it was crazy.
In the rest of your music career, did you ever rap about aliens again?
That was it.
Aliens coming down to fucking some
One-
bitches, though.
One time, but only because super rhymes. If you listen to super rhymes, you gotta listen to it. It's no hook, no nothing.
Yeah,
It's
no,
one-
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and that's what he's talking about. So I had that one go-to rhyme that at block parties I'll say it, and I killed it. You know what I'm saying? So that was about 48. I had to be about 248 bars all in one. It was a long ass rap. So we ended up doing a show up in Ben's Lounge in Four Corners, where I was a DJ and they was rappers, and the RSO was born. Now back then everything was about battling. You know, we was battling. We had a battle. We battling. So Derek Corcho was like the OG of Four Corners. William Goforth, him and his brothers were like the OGs of Castlegate. These are two blocks that had gangs in them growing up. Rough blocks. I grew up in Four Corners. Jeff grew up in Castlegate. DJ 2 times. Def Jeff back then was from the PC crew. His name was DJ Smalls.
Okay.
Jeff's name transferred 2 times. It was Smalls first of the PC crew. And William Goforth and Derek Corcho would always argue about us. And then one time we battled. Now they had a bunch of motherfuckers. They had Orange Man. Orange Man's been locked up almost 30 years now. One of the greatest rappers ever known.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, I've heard about him.
One of the greatest. I just talked to him. He still got it. Oh my God, he still got it, man. Man, free Mr. G.
Well, is he getting out?
You know what? The people are advocating, and he's looking like, you know, he might have some. You know, we'll see. I hope so. You know, I hope so. But he's doing good up there. And when I spoke to him, he sounded the same as when I spoke to him. When I see him, I didn't see him 30 something years.
Yeah.
30 years, maybe close to 30 years. So it was him, and it was a couple other guys, Tony Rome, and a few other guys they had, and we had, and then we ended up battling. Now I'm a DJ, Jeff's a DJ. Now I used to remember Run DMC's, boom, suck MCs. I would take the kid.
No.
All right.
You're fired from the big.
Not really for the people watching.
Yeah.
A lot who don't.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
So the front kick and the snare, I was a turn knob. Even though I learned on this, I was only good with these hands. I couldn't do it with these hands, and that's why. But I was nasty with these. I could what. But then there was this one thing where Kev would start rapping, and I would take the beat and go doom, do that, doom, doom, do that. Jam Master J had did it. Doom, do that, doom, doom, do that. So
this is the beginning of you as a producer.
As really kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but Jeff won.
Okay.
And then we just ended up combining groups. He liked the RSO name better. He changed his name to Def Jeff, and we was the almighty RSO.
So check this out. Like, so I went to high school down the street. I actually went to like about a half a mile away, went to junior high school. We're talking about 93, 94. Like I was telling you earlier about my first Boogie Down Productions tape in like 19, like when it came out. Like I'm like 6, 7 years old, buying it like out of from behind the fucking glass at Sam Goody's.
That's dope. That's dope.
So I've been around forever. Jack of Spades got me started.
Right,
Jack of Spades, and then fucking Self-Destruction. It just set me off.
It was literally your blueprint.
KRS.
It was literally.
Come on.
But I'm like, at the time, I'm a young white kid in the suburbs. So that's why I want to paint the picture for you. So I'm getting on the bus, and like I stayed in the older kids' house is how I found out about like fucking I'm gonna get you sucker and shit like that. I watched that, which was like, what the fuck is this shit? Blah, 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 blah.
The Wayans, bro.
All that shit.
Yes.
So now fast forward like a year, I'm on the school bus. All right. I'm listening to like, well, Back the Fuck Up is huge. And Revenge of the Bad Boys.
Damn.
So at this point in time, right, there's only like maybe 50 tapes out in hip hop. Like it's so new in hip hop. Like you go to the Sam Goody section, there's only like so many.
I didn't even think of that.
And I had all of them. I had every one, like, because there was a
Every
time you would go
Tuesday,
every Tuesday you would go there, and whatever they had, you would get it. Now this time I'm actually going to Funky Fresh. I'm 13 years old from here, getting on 3 buses, going to Funky Fresh, getting like the fucking mixtape and shit, stuff like that. High voltage downtown, get my pages taken care of, all that shit. But I'm out here. That's dope. All right, which is I want to get to you. So anyone in the comments saying you're faking the funk? No.
I can co-sign the shit that he's saying. That's what it was.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here now. What's to me is like I'm sitting here as a 43-year-old man now, but at the time, like I thought RSO was cool to me because y'all represent Boston, and like no one had represented. There was no one out representing Boston, right? You know what I'm saying? So I really Ed OG, but Ed OG, like I wasn't as familiar with him. Like I saw Downtown Boston on your cover, right? And I was like, oh shit, these guys. And you guys had another thing was you guys had the Bruins logo.
Bruins, that was our show.
So, but now I was talking to Fredro about this. Slam was something that me liking hip hop music, people called me a wigger, but slam was something that white dudes liked. So I was like, look, hip hop was brand new at the time, right?
Slam was really one of the first songs that was geared towards that
kind of shit, right?
Yes.
But you guys also with the hockey jerseys,
really,
was one of those things because white people fuck with hockey. I don't fuck with hockey.
I never thought of that.
But me being on like the school bus and shit, like that was something like, yo, these dudes fuck like the Bruins.
Yeah.
And that would get people like to fuck with you. I remember the shit back in the fucking day. So I was trying to get him into like, so back in the day, like that shit was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like this he had Antonio Asali, he was down with the crew, which is Stop Snitching. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That whole movement, people don't know about that. But then you get
Stop Snitching started in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Like there was Marco. You know, I call him E. It's Antonio, but he was E joined the group after we had formed the group was Tony Rome, Orange Man, myself, Def Jeff, and the Master Kevski. That was the original members. And then I remember G had got locked up. Tony got locked up for a couple of years and came back. Rest in peace to Tony John and Rock. Rock had got killed. Rock was the youngest member, but he had got killed. So 2 of our members had got killed. But the original ended up, Marco came over, E. He was with the Body Rock crew with Big Chuck. He came over with us. And then ultimately the rest of the time was the rappers was me, Marco, Kev, and Jeff, and Tony Rome when he came back out. So it was always in and out because of a guy went to jail or somebody got killed and you have to replace.
That's another thing that like. So I was trying to hit him. So let's just be honest about it. You've been in the game for so long that some people that come in a little later might have missed the RSO like heyday and the importance of what that was to it, and they might only know you from stuff later on in hip hop, which isn't as strong as foundationally as that is. Right. So I was trying to like show him like the kind of shit that now once again I'm a 13-year-old white dude on the fucking bus going to junior high school out in Weymouth, and you guys reached out here. Yeah. Which is kind of like a mind fuck to think about that. Like because at the time I imagine you're a drug dealer and you're fucking going wild up there. Wild. And the last thing you're thinking about is that.
That's dope, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
I did not know.
And now full circle. I'm sitting here talking about
it's crazy.
So I get to be like, yo, that CD, because I want to ask. Now I remember one of the chamber. Crazy. One of the chamber was crazy. So I was. That's what started all the controversy. This is why I want to get. So this is what I kind of want to get into because people don't really understand like what actually that shit was all about. So you basically had a war with the Boston police.
Well, it started out like it was
But one in the chamber, right? Can you? I told him to listen to it and he didn't.
All right. No, I've heard one in the chamber. I even have the 12-inch.
No, my bad.
Okay. Yeah.
That whole album.
The whole thing was.
Can you explain to people what they might not know?
So one of the chamber was first we had produced it. We used. I want to go into the production of it. Mysterious Vibes by the Blackbirds, and myself, Jeff 2 times, and rest in peace to JB, the Hangman 3. We produced the track. So we use substitution beat. I mean, I love production. But anyways, the song was about.
I can tell you recollect all these songs.
I love the production and shit, man, like because sampling and shit. We actually.
I want to get into your production too. I don't think people know that you're actually a producer.
We actually broke into ERS and like took like like 2,000 albums. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
But that's a different story.
Well, yeah.
No, can you tell us that story?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, we used to.
That's a good one.
We had broken to ERS because they had a whole.
Are you already
section.
Armory RSO?
Yeah, well, I was.
You already Benzino with
already,
your videos
I'm
out.
Benzino, still Ray Dog.
But you got videos
Benzino,
out, records out.
People know me. Yeah,
People don't even just.
Yeah. So, but we knew. But we were samplers. We knew we needed them albums. We used to go to people. We used to have like a little service where we would come clean out your basement if we could keep the albums.
Okay.
Like, we was album collectors. We ended up
Just like this guy.
10, 11,000. We ended up but we tried to break into Harvard and we couldn't. You know what I'm saying? But we broke into ERS and we took about maybe 1,000, 1,500 albums from the ERS thing. Yeah, because it was.
Did you break in at night?
No,
or
because
inside
of course. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the guys there that had the keys and he was like a security and shit. Super cool. Gave him a couple of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and we went and got the bins, like the laundry bins. We filled them shits up and we had like a van and then we got them shits up out of there, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You are. Some people view you as like a villain in hip hop. You were a bit of a villain in hip hop.
I was. Yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest. Look, back then we was wild as fuck, and like we was being ERS had a lot to do with Boston's what they listened to. I'm gonna be honest, because WILD was a fucking AM station that played R&B and it went off the air at 6 o'clock when the sun went down.
Right.
When the sun goes down, and so in the winter it's going off at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
When the sun goes down, the antenna can't pick up. No, that's what Boston had for their fucking radio.
Okay, because I wasn't here till 2001.
Yo, bro. So you gotta understand, ERS.
Yeah.
Was the station? Y'all's antenna was kind of bigger than everybody else's. Y'all's reach was a little bigger.
That's what she said.
You know, yeah. Because shout out to Rusty and everybody down at WRBB at Northeastern because they had a very small antenna. So if you lived down by Northeastern, you could hear them. But ERS.
Mm-hmm.
You could hear it in the city. You could hear it in the city.
ERS goes
you can get it in New Hampshire,
bro. Great. So they was responsible for what we listened to, and I say that because at that time only New York is popping.
Yeah.
We're listening to shit everywhere because of ERS.
I tell people
because some guys are from LA. It's because everybody at ERS would have 2-3 hours on the radio as y'all station, and these guys would be from everywhere, and they're playing everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm already a DJ, but that's how Boston necessarily, even though we're on the East Coast, we started really getting influences from the West and even in Ghetto Boys more than New York at the time.
Well, I definitely hear like Ghetto Boys influences.
Yes.
On that first album.
And I want to get to that, the rap a lot, but I don't want to get off on the chamber.
ERS is responsible for that.
Well, no, because I just want to, because the BPPA like really went hard at you. Right. Like it was like a thing, and I kind of want to touch on that.
Okay. So
one of the chamber. What happened?
One of the chamber. I'm sorry. One of the so much too much.
Yeah. We'll get to them.
All right. One of the chamber. One of the chamber was at that time cops. Okay, Massachusetts was the #1 state for stolen vehicles.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right.
I lived in Connecticut back then. That's how we do.
I was trying to tell them too. We're talking like 100, 120 murders a year type shit.
Well, the 120 murders within a 20-mile radius.
Yeah.
Now, granted, they wasn't all. Most of them were the hood and black, but some of them was Southie and what they was doing over there.
The mob ties.
Yeah, Southie was. You know, So
what's one of the chamber about?
Police killing, coming in the hood, killing. There was laws that if you stole a car, the police could chase you and shoot at you.
Oh.
And they was killing motherfuckers. That Roger, 17 years old, got shot under a car and killed him. The police got over on it. Nathaniel Lackland, Jamaica Plain Projects, found dead with 2 in the back of the head by police. Nothing happened. This shit used to happen so much. Did y'all see the 5th trial with Mulligan?
No.
All right, you got to go see out Boston. It's called the 5th trial. It's my man Stutter. Shit happened to him. But when Mulligan, the Mulligans were a family of police cops that was bad for the hood. And they used to go, this one particular one, he got killed, but he was a menace. There's called the 4th trial. And it's on HBO. You got to watch it.
Okay.
And it's about Mulligan and everything. So, you got to understand, back then, it was only Irish police chasing us and shooting at us and fucking us up. Like, it wasn't no black police when I came up. The first time I ever got caught with drugs were the black police. There was 2 young guys. And because I never got caught. They used to chase me, Mulligan, Curly Top.
The white police.
Curly Top was a white guy. They used to drive one of those What's the car of the Miami Vice? What's that car? What the fuck was that?
Corvette
or something.
Was that a Corvette?
Ferrari, Corvette.
It wasn't a Ferrari. It was an American car. It was an American.
But he had like a sports car.
All right, that's what Curly Top had.
Yeah.
Curly Top was a white guy with an afro, and he used to cause havoc and by himself. Didn't have nobody with him, and used to cause. And Mulligan used to do the same thing. Mulligan had like wooden teeth. Joe Mulligan, and he got killed. He got shot in the head. Long story short, the police were going crazy in Boston.
They were on your power trip.
You remember what happened with the Stewarts?
Yeah,
Charles Stewart.
Yeah.
So that had them turn. They was stripping guys butt naked. Would stop and frisk when that happened. When they thought that a black dude killed them.
So was it just mad racist back then?
Not just racist. All right.
Yeah.
Look, it's not like the Irish just hated black people. They didn't like Italian people. So it's not like it was just against. I learned that later on.
Yeah.
Everybody had their own clan. When they're coming over from these places, people stuck together. Like it's not like I can't respect that. It's not but it's the thing was the Irish did stick together. The Italians did stick together. The blacks, we didn't. And that's why it was kind of different. In the hood, Roxbury, Dorchester, we're not sticking together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the work is coming from them, from the Irish and the Italians.
Yeah.
So that's how you're getting I'm getting a relationship with these guys. I would have thought that all white, living in Boston, you would think that that in those era that all white people were bad.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for the fact that my father having me with the guys, then I would have thought that coming up because every.
Again, this is your father having you around the mob guys.
Italian, Irish,
okay.
Jewish, a couple of Colombian guys. I'm meeting all kinds
of guys. And this was from your adolescence.
This is for my adolescence.
Yeah.
So now I'm like that's because these guys I ended up like they loved me and I loved them. Like I looked up to them.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, I started understanding what the fuck they was doing. I really was like, then I'm starting like, I wish motherfucker would fuck with me. That type of shit because they loved me.
In the company of killers.
Yeah, but I never let anybody know about that. Now, even my guys in the streets, I kept that. They knew my father. They understood my father. But my involvement with him and his guys, I kept separate. You know what I'm saying? I had to. You know what I mean? Because these people, you can't fuck around with these people.
You were really in the life of crime from all angles.
From my whole life. And I'm blessed to thank God for hip hop. And thank God I'm still here because all my money that I made went into hip hop. And went into buying shit for the group. And went into traveling in cars and just trying to build. I just wanted to be a fucking rapper, man. I gave block parties. One in the chamber. So it's about police killing these guys. We rapped about it, and then we got sued. Ice-T came up with cops
because this is probably the first time that you've been blackballed through this industry.
We got signed with Tommy Boy.
Well, I was going to say
that was big.
It wasn't easy. You about to sign you around this time?
He was about to sign us after that. That was after to our first week there. We got signed to Rap a Lot before Easy, but let me.
Okay.
So
there's so much.
So the thing with One in the Chamber was we was getting ready to do a video for it. We're starting getting radio play. Tommy Boy's an independent label at the time.
Yeah.
They had Naughty by Nature.
Because you had Hellbound was out.
Hellbound, Queen Latifah, but One in the Chamber was the one that they signed. That was a single deal.
Yeah.
$5,000. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It wasn't so.
It was $5,000 back then.
No, right,
Yeah.
right. So I mean, and it was our first deal. We're signed.
Yeah, but you're doing like deals. Fuck, it's $5,000.
We're signed to a New York label, and it's dope, even though it's a single deal. But they're about to do a video. They're getting radio play. We went on a tour, like the little tour. I bought one of them Chinooks. It's like a small fucking camper, and we, you know what I'm saying. I did all the driving. I mean, I drove all around the country and back so many times. And, I just remember we got dropped from the label and we knew about it through the Boston Herald, the front page.
That's how you found out that you were dropped from your label.
Yeah, because they wasn't answering the phone for the next 2 weeks.
Remember what the headline was?
Yeah.
Boston police sues Boston rap group. And it had a picture of the police commissioner.
It's like the police union.
The leader of the union.
Yeah,
the leader of the
union.
union.
Problem.
Yeah,
this is a fucking problem.
Yeah,
right?
the leader, because they're saying that one chamber means that we're saying kill cops.
Kill cops. And now everywhere you go,
right,
all the police are already on alert that fuck you.
Right.
Did you actually have a target on your back? Like police knew you had done this song?
Over the years.
Okay.
Over the years, because.
But was any of it because of that song?
That's what started.
Okay.
Like I said, like once you're in the Boston Globe and Herald, that's it. You know what I'm saying? And they just kept.
And at this point in time, there's only fucking 30 rap groups.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like
It's not a lot.
hip hop's bad.
You're right.
Like white people are terrified of it. Like they're not. It hasn't hit
This
mainstream
time,
yet.
right.
No one's
Right.
no one's speaking like any
Right.
kind of slang yet.
There's
Nothing
no
mainstream,
advertising.
nothing.
Yeah,
It's like
there's no
cannabis is now.
internet.
Right. It's like cannabis is now. It's still like off limits. It's not even legal in 30 states.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
that's reminding me. I have a Dookie chain. We haven't Dookie chained you yet.
Oh, okay. I'm
Damn.
ready.
Fucking-
Oh
Oh,
no.
I'm fucking ready. You know
Damn,
how
I
many these
mean,
I've had in my
what?
life?
I forgot this.
Oh,
I feel
man,
so
come on,
guilty.
man. This is big.
Oh, actually, I don't know. You might have to take the headphones off.
Okay. And
Yeah.
you know what's so crazy? You gonna make me fuck around and go get one? 'Cause I look good in these right here. Yeah, I look good in this motherfucker. I used to have one. I got mine from Canal Street. We used to have to go to Canal Street.
In New York, yep.
Yeah. See, Run DMC was such a big influence on us, man. They changed my life. I wore Adidas for 44 years straight. With never ever had a pair of Nikes in my life.
Oh wow.
It's that Boston thing.
They should be paying you.
44 years straight. 44 fucking years straight Adidas, baby. This is big. I feel, yeah, I look good with it too.
You do. You do.
I got-
Yeah, so you had you were
Course.
Canal Street, so you had a
Course.
fake Dookie chain, but you also had a
No,
real
no,
Dookie
I-
chain.
I-
You had a real
It
one.
was real. It was
From
real.
Canal.
No, Canal,
Okay.
because you could only get it from Canal.
Okay.
But look it, I had a real with that with the microphone. So we used to rob niggas for their jewelry and then take them down to this Russian guy downtown, David and Lillian, in the jewelry building and have him melt everything. So I had
Jesus.
to melt a big microphone. It weighed 1.5 pounds of gold with a on-off switch and the netting in the mic, and I used to wear it for my fucking chain, man.
You guys are like pirates.
That was
fucking
Stealing
dope.
the gold. Yeah.
At this point in time, too, so like you transitioned from that first, like right when that one of the
Hold on, guys. This is my girl. I just want you to say hi to her so I don't get in trouble. Okay, because if she knows I'm on the podcast, everything's cool.
How you doing?
Hold on. Let me go. Hold on. And where's she at? We're gonna so I've never been married. Anybody married?
No.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna get married. Hey, babe, I'm still doing the podcast. They want to say hi to you.
What's going on? Thanks
Hello.
for letting us take
Borrow
a couple
him.
hours. Yeah.
All right, brother, it's gonna be about another hour, and I'm gonna call you back. Oh yeah. Yo, hold on. The name of the podcast is the BIg Dookie Chain Podcast. So they just put it on me. This is
You called right when the Dookie chain went on.
See,
We just had the nighting.
see, like they just put it on me. So this is what they do to all their guests. Babe, I used to have one. I look good in it, right? I'm gonna call you back. I love you. I'll call you back.
What did the Dookie chain mean to you at that time? Like,
Man,
'cause they stood for
What?
something.
A fucking king. You are the fuck. Like that shit made me feel like any Marvel character would feel when they powers. They got their powers.
Yeah.
Because man,
Because we try to explain it to like
man,
youngsters
younger people,
today
they don't
what this
understand,
Dookie
okay.
chain is.
man, you really
Significant.
It really was. It was power because if everybody you've seen who was your fucking idols had the Dookie chain on.
It just makes
In
you
the
think of
drug
Biz
game
Markie, like
and
Biz
rap.
Markie. Like you think of like that's just fucking hip hop.
Well, with me, it
It's
was
as hip
Run
hop as it
DMC.
gets.
It was even before them,
Kane,
because I'm older.
Rakim,
Kane,
All of them do.
that's right.
But Biz Markie
Slick
is like.
Rick.
So we always
Right.
ask, who was the most hip hop? People always say top hip hop record, right? Fuck that. Who was the most hip hop person
To me back then,
at all? Period. In hip hop, the whole entirely.
that's gonna be hard.
Who's the hip hop? Who's
All right, well, you know what? Then fuck it. I'm the most hip hop. I'm going to say some politically correct shit.
say it?
Most
Some people say
politically-
KRS-One.
the most politically correct. You know what? I'm going to have to go between Fat Five Freddy and
Ooh, that's a good one.
Dougie Fresh.
That's a good. Those are. No one said Fat Five Freddy. Fat Five Freddy's a really good one. I like that one.
Fat Five Freddy was there from the inception, and he carried it.
Yeah.
He carried the torch.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
that's a good one. And actually, that's a good fucking parlay because at this point in time, like after one of the chamber hits, you guys get in a little bit of trouble. But then like the next album comes, right? The Hellbound album comes. Like that album seemed like it had more production behind it. Had more like
We started to rap a lot.
that. Okay, so that's what I'm. So you go that direction.
You got dropped by Tommy Boy though.
We got dropped by Tommy Boy.
Okay. You
And then
put out the 12-inch. You put out a
we
record.
finally got to see Tom Silverman and Jack the Rapper coming down the escalator. And he was trying to
He was
turn
the
around.
owner of Tommy Boy.
He was trying to turn around and run away from us.
Uh-huh.
And this is a true story.
Yeah.
I swear to God. As he's coming down, he's nervous as hell because we're deep at Jack the Rapper. And he was like, he's trying to explain and he's stuttering and shit. Like,
This is how many years later?
maybe a year.
Okay, so this is almost in the
Maybe
midst of it.
it's still in the mix. Like, and we're like, bro, you didn't even answer the fucking phone and you didn't call Dave
Right.
because Dave was fucking with us. You know,
Dave Mays.
he had just moved to New York with the Source.
I want to get to that.
So at the same time, Dave Prince is walking down the hallway with about 15 guys. And Tom says, yo, do you know Jay Prince? And I was like, oh, shit. Like he was, man, like God helped him. Not saying that we was going to rough him up.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everybody because motherfuckers was mad at this dude.
Right.
But because the respect was like, bro, like you couldn't fucking call us and tell us that you dropped us. And he started talking about, no, but Warner Brothers just took us over and we're not independent. No more.
You can still pick up the phone.
But there goes Jay Prince.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit. And he introduced us. And he explained Jay.
He was like, look that way, and he went.
100%.
Listen. No, but
Like a cartoon.
No, but he stood there and explained the whole situation with the police and everything. But he said Jay's into the controversy.
Yeah.
Then he got the fuck out of there. Once me and Jay started talking, he
like,
was gone. He was out.
Yeah.
So Jay was like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna check you guys out, man. You know what I'm saying?
And Jay Prince, people knew who he was
That's
as
my
an infamous character, as well as him being the head of Rap-A-Lot, right?
What people don't understand, right? And it frustrates me to see people but I understand the internet, like the disrespect and the evilness from the internet. Jay Prince really is, and I say black man, like Jay Prince raised his sons. Jay Prince employed hundreds of people in Texas. Jay Prince gave away and helped hundreds, maybe 1,000 or more people in Texas. This is at a time when you're going independent. Do you know how hard it is to sell independent and make it work?
Right.
He was one of the first to make it work. I always respected Jay. When I went down there, I moved down there. We moved to Texas. We got signed there. We got to work with all the people that produced for the Ghetto Boys. Obito.
That makes sense now because the videos, you're out in the fucking desert.
Crazy.
And I'm wondering why desert. So So the Hellbound video, you're wearing an eye patch.
Yeah.
Why?
Because my eye had I always I'm wearing contacts.
Well, he's a pirate, man. Melted down gold and turned it into a
but I wear contacts. I wear contacts now. Like sometimes, like you know, what I'm saying I have like character conus. Okay. So it's like sometimes your eye, and so about a week prior to that, I had to go to the hospital. Like I was trying to take it off, and my eye was like I had to wear this like Vaseline type shit in my eye. It was fucked up.
It was just, but you never see that like in the video. I'm going back to a video, so I'm like, this motherfucker's wearing an eye patch.
I wore it one more time in the video. It happened again. It's the video I did out in Augusta. And it happened. I had to go get a fucking eye patch.
Were you trying to do like a Nelly thing at the?
I know. I'm like this.
No, because my eye was really fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And we went out to Red Rock, Arizona.
Colorado?
Arizona.
There's the one in Arizona too?
Yeah, it's Arizona, Red Rock, Arizona.
The leather's in the video.
Yeah. Antonio Anasaldi.
I know, but who? So ever since a teenager, I've wanted to ask you that. Like, whose idea was it to rock leather in the desert?
We was so.
We went leather. Grandmaster Flash.
They have full length leather, like the head, like dope.
You heard what he said, Grandmaster Flash. Right?
Oh yeah. He had the leather out.
They're like in Monument Valley, like walking over like mesas and shit.
Grunkey's outside right here. Like Grunk's outside. My man Grunk's outside. Yeah. So, but wait a minute, he's right though, and it's good, man. I'm loving this conversation because. So if we did a song made men called Deja Vu with Master P in Death Valley. It was 130 degrees in there, right? And again, we got leather.
That's what I'm talking about.
No, the first one was the first time we've ever had that when and Marco did it. That was You'll Never Know. That was the RSO.
That's what I'm talking about. So,
yes.
Yeah, that helped.
But I'm just saying he's sharp because later on we did it again, but it was even harder in Death Valley. Now over there, that might have been 90 degrees, right? It was 130. One of the members, David Myers, did the video. He was the one that was doing all the Big Missy videos, right? Yeah. We gave him $500,000 for this video. It was our money. The label wasn't doing it.
Not from Rap-A-Lot. This is from you guys. Okay.
But, you know what I'm saying? Like, we always wore the leather shit.
And who were the members of Made Men?
Made Men was me, Marco, E. Devious, and Atlanta Saudi, a.k.a. 2 times, and Mr. Jesus. Yeah. Mr. Jesus was with the Wise Guys. And he was so dope. Mr. Jesus I want to say this right now on the BIg Dookie Chain Podcast. Mr. Jesus is one of the dopest guys to ever touch a mic in the city of Boston. Never mind, I'm saying everywhere, but since we here in Boston, we talk in Boston, one of the dopest, if not the dopest to ever touch the mic in Boston. I want to say that, and I know everybody.
Go do your homework.
Yeah, go.
I know everybody who rap.
Yeah,
rap, even the new guys. there is nobody that I would put above. And Edo G is my guy, and Edo G is up there too on my Mount Rushmore Boston. But Mr. Jesus,
we were gonna ask.
Mr. Jesus is number one.
Okay.
Dart Adams put you at number one.
Yeah.
Dart.
He put
Get the fuck out.
He gave you the number one spot.
Dart.
And he didn't know you were coming. Yeah.
No,
he had no
Dart.
idea you were coming in here.
No.
Dart hates
So Dart Adams. This is
Dart.
He gave you the number one. He said he hates doing Mount Rushmore.
Dart
But he has to
Adams
put you at the
said-
top.
Number 4 was Edo G, the Bulldog TDS Mob.
TDS Mob.
Number 3 was Posse NFX FTI Crew. And 3 Death
FTI
Notes.
crew.
Number 2 was Gangsta and G. And number
Rest
1
in
was
peace,
All Money
man.
RSO Made Men.
Man, that's all right.
That's Dart Adams, man.
Yo, and you know what?
And Dart Adams got that official.
I want to shout out to Dart because Dart has put the work in for Boston hip hop. Anybody who has passion, sometimes we've disagreed on a few things, and mostly the Eminem situation. But
We'll get
you know what
to
I'm saying. But I know, I know. It's only the 17,000th time.
Yeah, no one's ever asked you about Eminem.
59 years old.
But
I
you know
will be
what?
talking about Eminem
You know
until
what?
79. Trust me.
I have a feeling it's going to be a different conversation.
No, I'm with it.
You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to approach it from a different angle.
It is different because I've changed. Honestly,
Like, I want to have a hip hop conversation.
Yeah, we're not there yet. We're
I want-
still. I'm like in the grips of this.
Yeah, I want to get you the dude.
Andy's
so far-
Andy's from
Right, I know. This
Like,
is Michigan meets Boston.
We haven't even gotten to I still want to get to so at this point in time, your videos start to look like fucking hypnotized. You got helicopters, Kawasaki Ninjas, Ferraris, fucking jumping off.
Right, and it's all
buildings.
self-funded.
Who the fuck is
Come on, I was-
Dave Mize,
Well,
one of the best directors of all
we
time.
gave him $500,000. He was the first one to get a big
who was
budget.
paying? Yeah, because
They were paying. So you were making good money as a drug dealer.
Yeah, I was.
that's what I'm saying. Because it didn't. You're doing the hypnotized video before the hypnotized video was a thing. I don't think people know that. I'm watching it. I'm like, is this guy jumping out of a fucking helicopter right now? Jumps out of a helicopter onto a motorcycle. Drives a motorcycle off a fucking building.
Yeah, he's doing California Love.
Jumps in one of the
California
MPV vans. Jumps in an MPV van. Takes through the streets. I'm like, this is fucking hypnotized.
He was doing the Mad Max stuff.
But what it is, you can tell it's on a different camera because it's older and
16
shit.
years
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah,
Yo, it's great. This guy, I forgot his name 2 times. We should have brought Jeff up here with me.
We can sometime, man.
When I come back, we got to bring Jeff because
I would love to have a
Jeff will
conversation
remember.
with
That's
him,
my
too.
DJ. Jeff will remember because I've smoked so much. But he'll remember all the other shit. But it's crazy he said that because, yeah, man, there was a guy on Newberry Street that they was only shooting commercials, right? And he had a 16mm camera. White guy, Irish, good guy, young guy. But he never shot hip-hop videos. We used to do so much shit with him. After a while, he'd be like, I could do it. Fucking he would strap himself in certain ways. I put him in the Benz throughout the fucking thing, and we was doing a car chase scene with a dude doing fucking donuts. He was strapped in. He's loving us, yo, for real, man.
This is before CGI, folks.
No, this is before hip hop videos kind of did that.
Yeah.
That's what kind of took me aback about them. I had to look the dates up, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is 5 or 6 years before hypnotizing shit. This is driving backwards. The director of
Right, but
crazy shit. He was with it. I forgot his name, and I'm pissed, man.
But talk about investing in yourself and investing and betting on yourself.
So you want to hear?
You were really betting on yourself back then.
And it worked because you are for what?
Spent a lot of money.
Yeah, that's scary though.
The reputation precedes you, but if you start doing the digging, if you're a fan of hip hop, a true fan of the art, the craft, the culture of hip hop,
that's all I want.
If you're you're it's hard to not like you. You contribute. I might not agree with everything you've done and said and shit, and I haven't. But
that's life.
And that's life. But as someone who respects and loves hip hop, right? There's no denying your contributions to it
And my passion.
Well, obviously,
I love it, man.
You know what I'm saying? You can clearly tell that.
If I never met Dave and I never went to the Source, then who knows what the trajectory of what
I have so many Source questions, but I do have to tell you. I tell you this one. I don't mean to cut you, but just on this album right here, still, because I got to tell, so at this time in hip hop, right now everyone does R&B albums, hip hop. So there's girl songs, people do girl albums, people do all this shit. Right. At the time,
including your latest.
Well, at the time,
very R&B.
This is right after Meth did the All You Need shit. Every album started to have one girl song on it.
That's right.
So let me. So now I get back to being the white kid from the suburbs, right? This is making girls mixtape times. Okay, so I got this girl. I never went to school, but I got straight A's. I'm one of those dudes. I showed up a test, all college, smart dude. So, but my girlfriend was, but the only I say is because my girlfriend was a super
One
nerd.
sec, call him, because he just called. He should be out there. You got his number? Because this is the guy you guys got to be.
Yeah, what's up, man?
617-87-1767. 487.
You probably shouldn't.
It's cool. These guys are cool. They're not gonna fuck.
Well, no, it's on live.
1757.
Benzino is not worried about some internet trolls.
No, man, I'm done with 17 million of them.
Right, I'm saying.
So put it like this, right? So once again, back to so I say like the smart chick because my girlfriend was at the time was like a nerd, all smart elite classes. She ended up going to a college called Sacred Heart in Connecticut. That's like a really.
I know a Sacred Heart.
So
he's from Connecticut.
So
He knows where it's at.
You get it. So
you know what Sacred Heart is, right, Smoke?
Yeah, Harvard.
Yeah.
Well, right next to fucking the worst place in Connecticut, right there. Fuck, I can't think of the fucking name of it. Regardless, Bridgeport. Right next to Bridgeport. It's you take a left.
Harvard was fucked up.
You come out of Sacred Heart, you take a right, you're in Mansion. Take a left, you're in like.
I went to a project in Hartford,
East
right?
Hartford.
I went to a project in Hartford, right?
Yep.
I've never seen a project like this. It was one building here, another building way over here, and another. Like somebody dropped 4 bombs in between the buildings. Like that was wild to me. I've never seen no
Just
project.
no man's land
No
in
man's
between
land,
these
like,
fucking
straight.
So
projects.
picture like this. I graduated in '98, so '98, right? So it's the spring of '98, fall of '98, driving down to Connecticut from fucking Boston so you're making girls mixtapes at the time.
Uh-huh.
Now, because every hip hop album
Mine has
has
names on it.
has one song of each hip hop album you can take and put on this mixtape because like everyone has one song, right? So I get to the fucking RSO one song. It's a chick song. You could be my boo, right?
Yeah.
So which is obviously not something you guys did, right? But Pete, this is great. So fucking, I am driving down. Now I'm like hip hop, and I'm driving down with nerdy white parents that are driving to Connecticut to drop their daughter off a thing, and we're listening to the mixtape I made her for college. So it has like all the other songs like Mary J. Blige songs, is not, and then like all of a sudden that song comes on.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we're like smoking blunts while we're fucking, we're like getting drunk in the street and shit. And I'm sitting with this fucking chick's mom, and I'm like. It was the longest fucking like 5 minutes of my fucking life.
How come you just did this fast forward?
Yeah, he's in the back.
Because I was in the back. I would
have been like, oh, wait a minute, can you go fast forward, please, man?
And everyone extra like, oh, now we go.
She's digging. She's liking it. I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm making the like, oh, I'm gonna miss you like tape. You know what I'm saying?
That was
like,
awkward as hell. I know.
It was so. It was.
Let me give you a backstory on that song.
Please.
Monica was like 16 years old, and she did the hook. Right?
Faith Evans did it, right? Okay, my fault.
I wrote the hook. We're in studio in New York. Monica comes in, she does it, kills it. We happy as hell. Oh shit, because Monica's getting ready to blow up. She's real young.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they don't clear Monica. Dallas Austin didn't clear Monica. I said, what the fuck?
That's fine.
I'm like, damn, so it's putting a hold on it because Jay wanted to release that as the single. So I wrote that. So me and E. Divas was in a pool in Texas. It's like 130 degrees in Texas. We
took a break from the all leather.
We just
he's in the pool with the leather on.
Yeah.
That's good. Fucking so now he didn't clear it. So we get Faith to do it. So Faith did it, but Monica did it. We